Aisha, starring Sonam Kapoor and Abhay Deol, came out in 2010. It is set in the upper class society of Delhi in India and is an adaptation of Jane Austen's 1815 novel Emma with the same tone as the 1995 cult Hollywood film Clueless. The movie was received with mixed reviews. However, the one thing that almost everyone praised was the costuming of the characters. For a more detailed analysis of the style displayed in Clueless, do check out the video by Modern Girls. I have added the link in the description. It breaks down the looks of each of the girls in the movie and how it syncs up with their character traits or their mental state at a certain point of the story. In this video, I attempt to do the same with Aisha, although from a layman's perspective. Aarti's character is not much into the spotlight during the movie. She is introduced as a friend and colleague of Arjun and a possible source of jealousy for Aisha. Her look can be described as chic. She shows skin, but it doesn't look like that is her intention. Rather, it looks natural for her. It shows her comfort in her skin and the confidence she has in herself. Her color palette is usually black, white, or other subtle colors, a contrast to Aisha's pastel or bright colors. Shefali, when first introduced, had just moved to Delhi from a small town. Aisha invites her to an art exhibition. She puts on a fancy suit and pairs it with heavy earrings and a neckpiece. She might not know much about fashion, but she is aware of her surroundings and what is expected of her to look like. Since she knows that it is a fancy event, she puts on her definition of fancy. In the next scene, after Randhir calls her out on her attire, she ditches the neckpiece and wears comparatively lighter earrings. After the makeover, she is seen mostly in dresses, but while Aisha and Pinky are comfortable with tight-fitted dresses, Shefali wears mostly dresses that are free-flowing in the bottom. After things fall out with Randhir, she is back to wearing salwar suits and flats. Her style changes again when Aisha decides to set her up with Dhruv, or when she is trying to court Arjun. She is juggling between two worlds. Aisha's world, which is dominated by Western fashion and styling, whereas her own style that she has grown into. When playing with the idea of being with Saurabh or hanging out with her family, she is seen in suits, whereas whenever around Aisha or her circle, she blends in with their style choices. Pinky is Aisha's best friend. She is much more expressive and bold in her fashion choices and wears much more bright colors or wild prints. She is confident in showing skin, much like Aarti, perhaps a nod to them being more in tune with their sexuality. In the first half of the movie, Aisha and Pinky's silhouette is similar, the color of their outfits is complementary, and you get the idea of how much in sync they are. In the wedding scene, both are wearing similar lehengas, but Pinky's dupatta is collected over her neck, while Aisha uses hers to cover the neckline of the blouse. When going to the exhibit, both are wearing pants with a blouse. While Aisha has hers tucked in, Pinky is wearing a cropped one. Similarly, in the shopping montage, Aisha chooses to wear stockings with her dress while Pinky shows her bare legs. Yet both are wearing a similar length body-hugging dress. In the polo match, both put on small hats, a contrast to the big hat worn by Aarti, and a similarly styled top. They are often in a similar color palette too. Both will be wearing bright colors or sometimes the same color. After Pinky starts forming a bond with Randhir and Aisha focuses most of her attention on Shefali, the outline of their clothes starts to differ from each other, signifying them drifting apart. They are also often wearing opposite colors during this time, especially when Pinky finally confronts Aisha. One is wearing black while the other is in white. Aisha's style hangs in the middle. She is not very bold in her choices like Pinky, and also she is not quite settled into her own like Aarti. She wears bright colors, yet when need be she delves into chic too. Most of the articles describe her style, donned in hats, hairbands and dresses, as inspired by Blair Waldorf from Gossip Girl, which was at its peak at that time. In contrast to Pinky and Shefali, she seems the most polished in her style, but she is also naive and inexperienced in life. This is most prominent in scenes where she is shown at home cooking. She wears bright colored dresses that can aesthetically be described as childlike. This is to show her sheltered life and immaturity. When she meets Aarti, she is quickly intimidated by her. Along with being a rival for Arjun's affection, Aarti is also in tune with her style choices. On the beach, while Aarti and Pinky are comfortable in wearing their swimsuits out of the water, Aisha chooses to wear jeans over it, displaying her insecurity in the presence of Aarti. Once all her friends leave her, she wears a lot more dark or dull colored clothes. She is rarely seen in full black except during this time. Once she and Pinky start drifting apart, her silhouette also starts matching that of Shefali, indicating that she is replacing Pinky as her best friend. Aisha and Clueless both feature fashion as an important aspect of the movie, but where Clueless with witty quips and likable characters doesn't rely solely on fashion, Aisha fails to move past it. Clueless uses fashion to define the era and the universe it is set in. The characters use their clothes to represent an aspect of themselves rather than just to look good. Aisha focuses on looking good more than using the style to define itself. A quote from one of its actors said that the focus was more on the wardrobe than the story, which holds up because the movie feels dragged at times and the characters look unnatural and with little chemistry between them. Still, the styling is on point, likely the only takeaway Aisha took from Clueless. The movie established Sonam Kapoor as a fashion icon and inspired a lot more movies to use luxury fashion in their styling. Yet the movie fails to present that one iconic look that is remembered for years. Even when most of the focus is on clothes, it fails in making it a prominent character in the movie. For more breakdown videos, do subscribe, and if you like the video, press the like button. Let me know in the comments the movies you think use costuming to its advantage.